In the modern music industry, few names carry as much influence, power, and global recognition as Taylor Swift, but her journey to becoming a billionaire wasn't sudden. It wasn't luck. And it certainly wasn't easy. It was built step by step, through strategy, reinvention, and an unusual level of control over her own career. This is the story of how Taylor Swift built a music empire. It all began in a small town in Pennsylvania. Taylor Swift showed an early interest in music, inspired by country legends and classic storytelling. By the age of 12, she was already writing songs, not just melodies, but personal narratives. That would later become her signature. At 14, her family made a bold decision. They moved to Nashville, the heart of country music. This wasn't a guarantee of success. Nashville is filled with talented hopefuls. But Taylor had something different, a clear vision and relentless drive. Soon, she signed her first deal with Big Machine Records, a small, relatively unknown label at the time. This moment marked the beginning of her professional journey. Her debut album, released in 2006, introduced her as a teenage country artist with a relatable voice. Songs about high school, heartbreak, and growing up resonated deeply with a young audience, but what truly set her apart was authenticity. She wrote or co-wrote her own songs, something not always common for artists her age. Her early success translated into her first major income streams, album sales, touring, and publishing royalties. By her late teens, Taylor Swift was already earning millions, but she wasn't just making money. She was learning the business. Her second album, Fearless, changed everything. It wasn't just successful, it was dominant, winning multiple awards, including Grammys. It pushed her into global recognition financially. This was a turning point. Tour revenues skyrocketed, merchandise expanded, brand partnerships began to appear. This is where she crossed her first major financial milestone. Her first million turned into tens of millions, but more importantly, Taylor began building something bigger than a music career. She was building a brand. Unlike many artists, Taylor Swift paid close attention to ownership. And this would later define her empire. In the music industry, artists often don't own their master recordings, the original versions of their songs. Instead, record labels control them. For years, this was simply accepted, but not by Taylor. As her career evolved, so did her sound. She transitioned from country to pop with the album 1989, a bold move that could have failed. Instead, it became one of the biggest pop albums of the decade. This reinvention expanded her audience globally. And with it, her revenue streams multiplied. Streaming, global tour, licensing deals, everything scaled. By this point, Taylor Swift was no longer just a singer. She was a global business. Then came one of the most defining moments of her career. A dispute over her master recordings. Her original catalog was acquired by Scooter Braun, which meant she no longer controlled her early work. For many artists, this would be the end of the story, but Taylor Swift turned it into an opportunity. She made a bold and unprecedented decision to re-record her own albums. This led to the creation of the Taylor's version releases, new recordings of her old songs, fully owned by her. It was a strategic masterstroke. Fans supported the new versions. Streaming shifted, and the value of her music returned, this time under her control. Few artists in history have successfully pulled off something like this, and it significantly increased her long-term wealth. Another key pillar of her empire, touring. The Eras Tour became one of the highest-grossing tour of all time, but it wasn't just about ticket sales. It was an experience. Each era of her career was turned into a visual, emotional, and musical journey. Fans didn't just attend, they participated. This level of engagement translated into billions in revenue, not just for Taylor, but for entire local economies. Beyond music, Taylor Swift expanded into multiple areas. Brand partnerships, film projects, streaming platforms. Real estate investments. She diversified her income in a way that reduced risk and increased stability. At the same time, she maintained something rare: direct connection with her audience through social media, surprise releases, and personal storytelling. She built loyalty at a scale few artists achieved. Then came the milestone. Taylor Swift became a billionaire. Not through inheritance. Not through business ventures unrelated to her craft. But primarily through music, her catalog, her tour, her strategy. This is what makes her story unique, but perhaps the most important part of her journey isn't the money. It's control. Control over her art. Control over her narrative. Control over her future. In an industry where artists often lose ownership, Taylor Swift rewrote the rules. Today, her influence extends far beyond music. She impacts streaming platforms. She shifts market trends. She defines what it means to be an artist in the modern era, from a teenage songwriter in Nashville to one of the most powerful figures in the global entertainment industry. Taylor Swift didn't just build a career, she built an empire, and she did it on her own terms.